Good evening and welcome back to today's The Hindu Analysis. And today's date is 21st December 2021. So we'll hear with the first news article that talk about the polity point of view, and where we'll try to understand the Lok Sabha passes a bill to link electoral rolls with Aadhaar. This is one of the important initiative by the government of India, where all the electoral rolls, all the electoral who are above the age of 18 years now will have a valid identification. Their Aadhaar card will be linked with the electoral rolls. Now, in the context of this, the Election Law Amendment Bill 2021 was passed in the Lok Sabha. This is called Election Law Amendment Bill 2021 that was passed in the Lok Sabha. So, provisions of this bill is linking of Aadhaar card and election ID card. Electoral ID card means your voter ID card. So, amendment will allow for the linking of the electoral roll data with the Aadhaar ecosystem. This will be a one important initiative by the government of India that will allow electoral registration officers to ask for Aadhaar numbers of a new applicants wanting to register as a voters, and will also allow them to ask for the Aadhaar number from persons already included in the electoral roll. The linking of the electoral roll with the person's Aadhaar would be a voluntary. This will be a voluntary, it's not a compulsory. This is one of the important point regarding this bill. This will be a voluntary, it will be not a compulsory for the persons. So no application shall be denied and no entries in the electoral rolls shall be deleted for the inability of an individual to provide the Aadhaar number. Okay, also those who cannot provide their Aadhaar number will be allowed to present other documents to establish identity. So it is not only necessary to link your election voter ID card with the Aadhaar. You have other proof, then you can also submit it, and that will be considered as a valid identity. And that will be a one important data system will be generated by the government of India, where all the details of the people who are of India, citizen of India, who are going to cast their vote will be in one place. Now, this move will help curb the menace of multiple enrollment of the same person in different places, and hence will help purify the electoral rolls. Now, as you are from a particular state, particular district, and you are moved to some other places, you are again going to apply for a voter ID card. That will be a create a one, will be a one type of extra means citizens that twins identity for the same person. So that will be a one consider as not good for the electoral rolls, and there should be always a one voter ID should be available for each and every person. Now this move will be help the curb the menace of multiple enrollment. That will be one important thing will be a safe for the same person in different places, and hence will help purify the electoral rolls also. Next important is additional qualifying dates. So the new amendment will allow 4 qualifying dates for eligible people to register as voters instead of one date currently available. So currently January 1st of every year is the only qualifying date. Okay, so for the 1st January is the only date for qualifying date. So people turning 18 on or before January 1st can only register as a voter in that particular year, where those turning 18 after that have been to wait for a year to register as a voter. So hence for January 1, April 1, July 1, and October 1 will be the 4 qualifying dates. So it was only one date before this amendment. Only January 1 was the first date. Now government is going 4 important dates like January 1, April 1st, and July and October 1st. So this move will help increase the electoral participation among the youth, and in thus a welcome step for strengthening and deepening the democracy in India. The provision for service voters, the new amendment will replace the word wife with the spouse in the provision relating to service voters. Now, this will make the provisions gender neutral and will help address the discrimination against male spouses of women armed service employed. Okay, next important article is the sustained attack on federalism. This article is again for your polity point of view, and federalism is one important term that always influence or means there will be a question from federalism, so that you always keep these things in your mind that this type of term will be always important. Now, in this context, this article underlines the concern with fiscal federalism in India. So, what is this fiscal federalism? We had talked about the cooperative federalism. We talk about the competitive federalism. We talk about the federalism is a term which is how a separation of power between the center and state. And so, what is called fiscal federalism? Now, the Indian government has taken a number of initiatives that challenge the ideas of federalism, particularly fiscal federalism. So, what is this fiscal federalism? So, they are increasing monetary share of the state in centrally sponsored schemes. The term of reference of the 15th Finance Commission, imposition of demonetizations without adequate consultation with the states, institutionalization of the goods and services tax, outsourcing the statutory functions under the smart city commissions, missions, and delay in the transfer of GST compensation. One nation, one ration card is one important things. Okay, so how this will be helpful for the government to maintain a fiscal federalism? The establishment Ministry of Cooperation as well as Reserve Bank of India as guideline on cooperative are seen by the state as an attempt to strangle a sector already reeling from a devastation of demonetizations. So following these measures such as the suspension and transfer of member of parliament, local area development, money to the Consolidated Fund of India were made. Now, what is fiscal federalism? Fiscal federalism refers to the financial relationship between the federal government system and various level of government in India. So it is the study of how government spending and earning are distributed across level vertical tiers of government administration. Now, what are the broad principles associated with the fiscal federalism in India are fiscal, you can say equivalency. This fiscal equivalency means the principle of fiscal equivalency require a separate jurisdiction of for each public service. Decentralized theorem, each public service should be provided by the jurisdiction having control over the minimum geographic area. And the third is called principle of subsidiarity. The subsidiarity principle states that the function should be performed at the lowest level of the government. So this is very important in mains exam. If you have to going to write an answer of fiscal federalism, then you must draw this flow chart. This flow chart is very, very important. So fiscal equivalency, decentralization theorem, and principle of subsidiarity, these are the three important principles associated with the fiscal federalism. Okay. Next important thing here is we talk about issues under the current fiscal federalism structure in India. So first of all, the issue really is called horizontal imbalances. The finance commissions have essentially evolved into a tool for pressuring states to implement a fiscal reform as a part of economic liberalizations. It has caused an unfortunate surge in horizontal imbalances because of the differing level of attainment by the states resulting from the differential growth rate and their developmental status in terms of the state of social or infrastructure capital. Vertical imbalances are created as a result of fiscal asymmetry in taxing power conferred in various level of government in proportion to their expenditure duty as defined by the Indian Constitution. These disparities are compounded in the case of third tiers, which include the elected local authority and panchayats. Pandemic and federalism. Union repressive measures along with the pandemic include economic shocks have exacerbated state government's budgetary plight. So tax collection, increasing the non-divisible pool of revenue in the form of cess in the gasoline tax and establishing the agriculture infrastructure and development fund cess has resulted in a scenario in which the union continue to gain solely from the tax collection. This is called GST. Throughout the epidemic, the union government regulatory breached GST resumes reimbursement commitment to the states. Delay in paying the states due accelerated the effect of economic recessions. So these are some important issues. Now, what are the recommendations here? So in a cooperative federalist framework, it is critical to have provision for further devolution of the state government in order to economically empower them to fulfill the aims of the New India 2022 National Development Program. In reality, rather than using top-down strategy, all levels should be economically empowered to accomplish state-specific fiscal deficit objective. Central government legislation relating to states should be include the additional provision for cost sharing to assist them in carrying out their responsibility. States should seek the establishment of a formal institutional structure to require and promote the dialogue between the union and the state in the areas of legislation covered by concurrent list assessed by the National Commission to review the working of the Constitution. State government may also consider deploying human resources to assist them in formulating replies to union consultation, particularly with the emphasis on federalism issues. The chief minister should endeavor to establish regulate venues for the discussion for this topic so that they will be able to solve the problems on time, whether they have a issue related with the how they can share the taxes among the states. That will be also one important area. Okay, so this is all for today's news article. We'll meet you tomorrow to discuss tomorrow newspaper article in detail. Thanks and good night.